Welcome back to the deep dive. You know how this works, right?
Hmm.
We take a look at the sources you've given us, and try to pull out the most important things for you to like think about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so today we're diving into Disney, the
Okay.
Walt Disney Company. Is this stock a good fit for your portfolio? That's what we're trying to figure out, right?
Right.
You guys gave us a lot to work with: Wikipedia entries, financial, snapshots, even some articles that touch on the controversies. All right, so let's unpack all this.
Yeah.
Let's start with a bit of history. Disney began like as a cartoon studio way back in 1923, founded by, well, obviously Walt and Roy Disney.
Yeah. I mean, their early work, like, really, set the stage for, I guess, their success. I mean, think about Steamboat Willie, right?
Mhm.
Synchronized sound. It was like
Mhm.
revolutionary at the time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Snow White. The use of Technicolor. Not just creative decisions, really, but smart business moves, I think. I mean, they positioned Disney as a leader, right,
Yeah.
from the beginning.
And look, they didn't just stop at animation, right? They expanded. They went into theme parks, live action films, television. I mean, we all know now streaming. This is a huge entertainment empire.
Right, and that kind of diversified approach, it shows up in their financials. I mean, just looking at fiscal year 2024, they had a revenue of like $91.361 billion with an operating income of 15.601 billion.
Wow. So those are some impressive figures. It definitely suggests, they're doing well. But can you break that down a little more for us? What does it tell us about their profitability, their health, so to speak, as a company?
Okay, so beyond revenue, you look at net income, right? That's like the bottom line. For them, it reached almost $5 billion, 4.972 billion to be exact. That shows like their ability to actually turn a profit after all the expenses. And they have, I mean, significant assets, 196.219 billion. And their equity position is really healthy, 105.522 billion. So yeah, it paints a picture of financial stability. They have the capacity for investment and growth.
Now, when we talk about Disney, we have to talk about their market share, right? I mean, from what I understand, they've always been like a top performer in Hollywood.
No, yeah, they consistently rank among the top studios. And it's not just about rankings, right? It's about those big milestones they've hit. Think back to 1988, Oliver and Company. It was the first animated film to like break that $100 million mark on its initial release.
Hmm.
I mean, that shows you how early on they sort of commanded, the animation market. And, fast forward to 2003, they were the first studio to earn over $3 billion in a year at the box office.
I mean, wow, breaking records, setting standards. And it's not just films, right? They're theme parks. I mean, they're legendary.
Absolutely. Constantly ranked as some of the most visited in the world.
Mhm.
It really solidifies their position as like a leader in the entertainment and leisure industry.
Yeah. And to reach that level of success, they've been smart about, how they've expanded their portfolio.
Yeah, the acquisitions they've made, they've been really strategic. 2006, they bought Pixar, right? Brought in Toy Story, Finding Nemo. Huge franchises.
I mean, those are giants in their own right.
And then 2009, Marvel. I mean, that gave them a universe of superhero characters and stories.
Right. So they've basically like handpicked some of the most beloved and most profitable entertainment brands.
And they didn't stop there. 2012, Lucasfilm, Star Wars. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And then in 2019, assets from 21st Century Fox, major film and television studios. I mean, it's solidified their dominance. I mean, there's no question.
And we can't talk about Disney today without talking about streaming, right? Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean, it launched in 2019, and it's like a major player now. They've got content from, not just Disney, but Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic. I mean, it's like everything.
It's really like a one-stop shop for like a huge chunk of the entertainment world.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of competition in streaming, right? Can Disney Plus keep up this momentum?
That's a big question, right? But their innovation, I mean, that's something to consider. Historically, they've invested in, new tech, pushing boundaries with their storytelling.
And they've been early adopters, right? I mean, computer animation, Toy Story, and then like the full CGI remake of The Lion King.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to stay ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
But we also need to look at their valuation, right? I mean, especially in such a, dynamic market like entertainment.
Right. And that's where I think, the analyst opinions come in. We have some data from tipranks.com, and it actually shows a range of price targets for the stock. The highest target we see is $150. That's pretty bullish, right? Some analysts are really optimistic about Disney's potential for growth.
Okay, so 150, that's significant.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing not everyone's that bullish, right?
No, not everyone. The lowest price target we see is $85, and the average is around 115. So you can see there's a real range of opinions here, you know. Some see a lot of upside, others are a little more cautious.
That makes sense. I mean, there are a lot of factors to consider. You mentioned competition, right? Both streaming and traditional entertainment.
Yeah, and then you've got to know the overall economic situation. If things slow down, people might cut back on entertainment spending. Right, that could impact Disney.
Yeah. Now, our sources also brought up some controversies and, ESG factors. We should probably talk about those.
Definitely. I mean, these things can have a big impact on, a company's reputation and how investors feel about them. One of the sources you guys gave us was this article called Disney Admits Woke Content Has Diminished Earnings Hollywood Elsewhere. And it talks about, some of the criticism Disney's been getting for their content choices.
So some people are saying, Disney's pushing a certain agenda with their content and that it might be turning off some audiences.
Right. And the question is Disney risking alienating their core audience by trying to appeal to, a specific group or ideology? The article also mentions accusations of plagiarism, specifically with The Lion King. They say it's too similar to this Japanese anime called Kimba the White Lion.
Plagiarism.
Yeah.
If that's true, I mean, that could hurt their reputation and lead to, legal problems.
Exactly.
And the Wikipedia entry for Disney mentions some other issues too, right? Animal cruelty, working conditions.
Yeah, there were some incidents at Discovery Island that led to those animal cruelty allegations. And there's been criticism of, their employee wages. These are things investors pay attention to. It's not just about the numbers.
And it also mentions this donation Disney made for humanitarian relief in Israel after the Hamas attacks.
Yeah.
But it points out that they got criticism for not doing the same for Palestine.
Right. So even when they're trying to do good, it seems like they can't escape controversy, can they? It shows how tricky it can be for a company like Disney to navigate these geopolitical issues.
So we've covered a lot. History, financials, market share, innovation, controversies. I think it's a good time to kind of sum up the pros and cons of owning Disney stock, just based on what we've seen.
Okay, so on the plus side, you've got, incredible brand recognition. Everybody knows Disney. It spans generations. And they've got, all those different revenue streams, theme parks, movies, streaming, merchandise. That helps them if one area is not doing so well, right?
And their history of innovation suggests they can adapt, like they did with streaming.
Exactly. And you can't rule out future growth. They're still expanding their streaming services globally. And they're always looking for, new ways to create and distribute content. And then you have their dividend payments. The Wikipedia entry mentions that. It can be attractive to some investors.
But it also mentions some recent changes to their dividend policy. So income-seeking investors, they need to, keep an eye on that. Definitely. Okay, so what about the cons? What are the downsides to consider?
Well, we talked about the controversies, right? Plagiarism, animal welfare, working conditions, geopolitical stuff. Those things can really damage a company's image, and that can, affect their stock price.
And they're facing some serious competition, like we said, in streaming and just entertainment in general.
Yeah, and that makes it harder to grow, right? And it puts pressure on their profits. Plus, some analysts think Disney stock might be overvalued, given all that.
The Wikipedia entry also mentioned their share buyback program. What's the deal with that?
So buybacks, they can increase earnings per share, which can make the stock look more attractive. But some people see them as a way to manipulate the stock price, Instead of investing in the long-term growth of the company, it's something investors need to think about, Does it fit with their investment philosophy?
So we've laid it all out. The good, the bad, and the maybe not so good. The question is Disney stock right for you?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it depends on, your own goals. What are you looking for in an investment? How much risk are you comfortable with?
We've given you the information.
Yeah.
Financials, market position, innovation, challenges. Now you got to decide. Do you believe in the magic?
All right. There's always risk with any investment. But the key is to do your research, understand what you're getting into, and make sure it aligns with your goals.
You think about it. They've been around for over 100 years.
100 years.
They've seen a lot of changes in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And they haven't just survived, they've thrived. They've often been the ones, leading the charge.
Yeah, they're not afraid to take risks, to try new things. Think about how they embraced synchronized sound, back in the day. Then Technicolor. moving into theme parks, live action. Each step was kind of a gamble, right?
Hmm.
But it paid off, and they need the willingness to evolve now more than ever, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the streaming wars, changing audience tastes, the global economy, it's a lot to navigate.
And the big question is, can they keep it up? Can they use their history, their creativity, their resources to not only survive, but like really define what entertainment becomes next?
That's the question you have to ask yourself if you're thinking about, investing in Disney. We've given you the information, the financials, their place in the market, their innovation, the challenges they face.
Controversies too. We didn't shy away from those.
It's up to you to decide. Do you believe in the magic? Is Disney the right stock for your portfolio?
I mean, at the end of the day, that's a decision only you can make. But hopefully this deep dive has given you some food for thought, some things to consider.
And if you want to deep dive into other companies, you know what to do. Head over to our YouTube channel. Let us know in the comments what stocks you'd like us to tackle next.
Yeah, we loved getting your suggestions. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.